Hey guys, it's Heather Tankersley here, and I am actually waiting to show some folks some property and have a few extra minutes. So I wanted to sort of talk about what it's like buying a home in the COVID era, and more specifically, what it's like buying a home with COVID right now. So things have changed a little bit, but generally speaking, the home buying process is pretty similar to what it has been and probably always will be. So first things first, whenever I talk about anything, it's going to be specific to like right now, because as we know, things are constantly changing with COVID. One day they say this, the next day they say that. So obviously always consult the CDC, use safe practices, and all of that. That obviously goes first and foremost. So I want to first address the question about the market, because initially when this pandemic started, a lot of people's initial reaction was to say, oh, wait, hold up. And so naturally, everybody was sort of quarantined, everybody's at home, everybody was trying to watch almost daily as to what was going on. And so buyers didn't want to be walking into homes, and sellers, quite frankly, didn't want people in their homes. So the market sort of went a little bit stagnant for a bit. It didn't stop, and there were still properties moving and people were buying and people were selling, but it was a little bit of a bump in the road, if you will. This was back in early March. So fast forward several months, and we've sort of figured this out a little bit, and we figured out that we still have to move on with life. People have to buy, people have to sell, people have babies, people lose jobs, people get jobs. So we realized we have to do this. So first things first, the market has not fallen apart. Initially people thought, oh gosh, we're back to 2008, 2009, the market's going to crash, I'm going to get a killer deal. And as it is right now, we are not there yet. That is not the market that we're in right now. It's actually still very strong because there's fewer sellers putting their homes on the market, which is also kind of driving prices up a little bit, especially in certain markets like Austin. So that being said, it's not a market where we're losing value, where homes are going into foreclosure, where crazy things like that are happening. So that's sort of first and foremost on the market. Now second, I'm going to just sort of walk through the process, and I'm going to start with folks that are not local to Austin. So if you are local to the area, then obviously some of this is not going to apply to you, because you're probably going to know about certain areas. You're going to know about construction, you're going to know about builders, you're going to know about communities. So it's not going to be as much of a factor for you. So you can sort of skip over that part. Well, I just kind of talk about that briefly. So if you're coming in from another area and you're just not real sure where you want to be in Austin, it's a really good idea to have a conversation first and foremost about what's important to you. Other factors include, like, are you going to have to commute downtown for a job every day? Do you have kids? Is the school district important to you? Do you like to be out in nature? Do you want to be downtown in the middle of the music scene, for example? So there's a whole bunch of things that are going to sort of determine certain areas that are going to be the best fit for you. So it's a good idea to sort of start there. In an ideal world, we would also get you in town for a fact-finding mission or a scout, if you will. And in that trip, you would sort of take maybe a full day and go to 2, 3, 4, 5 different spots that were top on that list of places to check out, and likely you narrow it down to 1 or 2, maybe 3 that you say, yep, you know what, I really feel like these are the areas that we want to zone in on. And so once you've sort of figured that out, and by the way, if you can't do that, if you're under travel restrictions, if you're a little nervous to fly, an alternative is when you have to move to the area, you can always just stop at or stay at an extended stay or an Airbnb for a couple of weeks and sort of do the same thing on the beginning end when it's time you just want to have all your ducks in a row. So let's say now that you've decided, I want to live in this community. So I want to live in Lake Travis. I want to live in East Austin. I want to live in South Austin. Whatever it is you've sort of settled on, then it's time to start digging into the homes there and seeing what's available at your price point and with the certain features and amenities that are important to you. And ideally, we can go into some of those homes together while you're in town, and then we can do FaceTime or Zoom or various types of tours when you're not here, when you're remote. And there's quite a few people that are actually buying sight unseen right now because of the virus. Others are saying, okay, we're going to put the property under contract and then come out during our option period so that we can come and tour the home and have the home inspection and all of that good stuff. So when you're going in to tour your homes, things are pretty much similar to what they were before, except if you have little ones, you probably want to be holding them. You don't want them licking doorknobs and things of that nature. You're going to wear your masks. You may want to wear gloves. You want to bring your hand sanitizer. Some families or some sellers will request that you put booties on. You want to be respectful and not go and open all the doors and windows and all that. Generally, your agent will have gloves and be willing to do that for you. Or if it's an occupied home, the seller probably has already turned on all of the lights and opened any kind of normal cabinets and doors, like a pantry door and master closet, so that you can see into those spaces. So largely that's going to be sort of how that goes. For open houses, if there's a big crowd, chances are we're going to see some social distancing and let maybe 1 or 2 families in at the same time instead of 10, 12, 15 people through the door at the same time. So other than that, it's pretty similar. Now, when it comes to the other factor is you may have to sign some COVID addendums depending on the agent, the seller, what have you. You should be prepared to sign some sort of COVID documentation. It won't be required on all homes, but some homes will require it. Agents will require it as kind of a blanket statement potentially. So just be prepared for that, because that sort of is a reality. And then depending on where in the home and the price point, they may also require that you show the agent, the listing agent, a pre-approval prior to seeing the home. So it's important to understand that and have all your ducks in a row. The other thing that is worth kind of considering right now is the lending side of things. Now, lenders can still get loans done in 3 to 4 to 5 weeks without a problem at all. The one thing to consider about that, however, is that when it comes to the financing side of things, there may be delays and you want to be right on top of it, because depending on how busy the lender and appraiser are, there's a lag time. One of my lenders was telling me that appraisers are 2 to 3 weeks out right now just because they're so backed up, because sort of a side effect to all of this is that interest rates went down and that refi boom is crazy right now. So you want to make sure that your lender has time to do new purchases and can get that done in the contract window. So that's the other factor that you really want to pay careful attention to. But for the most part, we just are having a little bit less inventory. We are having lots of people want to migrate into the area from other areas. So it's just something that you want to sort of keep an eye on and understand you still have to move very quickly. Property values are not taking a dive like people thought or hoped that they would. So it's largely the same. You just got to wear all your protective gear, be prepared to move rather quickly, and have a couple of inconveniences along the way. And it's a great idea to do, if they have any Matterport or 3D tours, you want to go through those. And then, especially if you're out of town, have your agent do FaceTime or Zoom tours with you. It's super easy for us to go in and do a tour and show you close-ups of the granite and open cabinets and walk you through, show you what renovations might need to be done, show you the really cool features of the home. So that's another way that we're really kind of dialing into real estate in the quote-unquote COVID era. So that's sort of a quick tip while I'm waiting to take some buyers in to see some homes right now. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, keep smiling, and be well.